Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am wrestling's favorite hothead, Xavier Heat,
And I am the man with no gimmick, the James Conti.
and you are listening to Double
Double
Turn
Turn
Radio.
Yo, rated. I made a brand for myself. Decided to take the tightest route. Raised in this biased environment, so they try to doubt and deny it, but none of they lying could put the fires out. My life is on the lines, and this is something I will die about. Diabolical like a riot. I'm getting higher clout. Tired of all these diets, so I'm riding out. Tires on the road. I'm applying every lesson from the losses. I was caught up in depression. Now I'm catching them endorsements, wrecking off endorphins, trying to make a splash with the record. So I keep the words flipping like a dolphin. Written's on the pad, I don't brag, but I'm often showing off with the zigzags, call it dolphin. Y'all better show caution if rated on attack. With this mastodon music going Vader on the track. With the mask on thrashing, leaving haters on the map. No matter where they located on the map. I'm a damage and I made it to a godly place, but they can't stand it. They need to get Jim Cornette or maybe Harley Race. Dudes trying to manage, but they need to mind their manners, cause Song kicked them hammers and he just got out the slam.
Hey, welcome back to Double Turn Radio. My name is Xavier Heat, wrestling's favorite hothead, and next to me is my beautiful and lovely co-host,
The man with no gimmick, the James Conti. And we are here for our monthly series, The 10 Count, where we take the top 5 best and the top 5 worst of a very specific topic, and we let you know what we thought about it. This month is the Elimination Chamber. Top 5 best ones, top 5 worst ones.
Yep.
Not just the pay-per-views overall, we're talking about specific chamber matches.
Yeah.
And what better way to celebrate the fact that we're going to have the first ever women's Elimination Chamber match before we add that to the worst list of all time.
Exactly. Before we go ahead and get this podcast going, we want to go ahead and thank our sponsors, Russell Rated R. Tyson, for giving us the music in the beginning and end of every podcast. You can find him on SoundCloud, Twitter. You can find him on Facebook, The Works, YouTube as well. He does wrestling-related raps, and he is very, very impressive at it. He has a new album coming out very, very soon. Once I get the details, you guys get the details. So definitely go and check him out. You'll be hearing the song in full at the end of the podcast. We also want to go ahead and thank Warriors of Wrestling. Today, while this is being released, we'll probably do it before the show. Last minute, if any of you guys want to go ahead and check out good local indie wrestling, check out Warriors of Wrestling. This time it's going to be at 1839 Bath Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. In the St. Finbarr Catholic Church. You got a doubleheader. Women are Warriors 4. And you also got Cold Fury, which has Jimmy Jacobs in action against Darius Carter. You also got D'Lo Brown and Russell Simmons in there as well. And you got a bunch of matches in between that are pretty good. Yesterday of this recording, when we release it, we had the tribute show to Frankie Getz, a.k.a. Joe Pizarro. Rest in peace. So we just had the tribute show. We're going to say it was really good because they're always really good.
Yep, Warriors Wrestling is always really good.
Yep.
All right, so with that being said, all the sponsorships out of the way, we got a countdown to do. Top 5, we're going to start with the worst. Top 5 worst Elimination Chamber matches of all time.
Just the matches, not the pay-per-views.
Right. And
Number 5.
going to be coming at you from SummerSlam 2003 in that match. Kevin Nash, Randy Orton, Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho, Goldberg, and the defending World Heavyweight Champion Triple H.
Why was this match so bad to you?
Oh, because Goldberg squashed everybody in the cage and then lost off of one shot of a sledgehammer to the back of the head.
Yeah.
RVD went and crushed Triple H's throat in the match for realsies. Triple H was already going through, I think, a massive groin injury. Kevin Nash, who at this point in his career was so, what the hell am I doing here, that he just got rolled up in the beginning of the match by Chris Jericho, and everyone else just got demolished by Goldberg. Chris Jericho took a spear through a chamber pod. It wasn't enough to save this match from its ultimate ending, where Triple H stood tall and squashed Goldberg.
Yep, it was after Goldberg attempted another spear after he hit it on Chris Jericho through the pod. He tried to hit it on Triple H, who countered the maneuver by hitting Goldberg with the sledgehammer and covered him for the win. So after all that momentum that Goldberg was having...
This also adds into the fact Goldberg had just come to the WWE. It wasn't like, Goldberg was a mainstay in the W for long. This was his coming home, and actually his punishment for this was because he told Vince McMahon he wouldn't do the Australia tour. So, and nobody tells the boss no.
Exactly.
So, Goldberg, this was his punishment for that. That was it. Goldberg would eventually claim the championship at Unforgiven 2003. Too little, too late. Should have won it in this match because he looked extremely dominant through the whole thing. Could have built up an incredible character in Goldberg that he already was. And this would have just added to his impressive repertoire of people he's defeated, and he would have claimed the company's grandest prize within his first year being in the company.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
With that being said, that is why SummerSlam 2003 is number 5.
Number 4. We've got the Elimination Chamber 2010. The Raw Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, during the pay-per-views, we will specify which chamber we're talking about.
Yeah, if there's a dual chamber.
If there's a dual chamber, we'll talk about a little bit later in the list.
Way more in depth about this specific Elimination Chamber pay-per-view in our Nostalgia Act.
Yep, if you're that'll also be coming out
this month. At some point this month, right before the pay-per-view, we'll be releasing our Nostalgia Act. We will review classic, either good or bad pay-per-views, and we will be giving our review on those as well. So we've got one about this specific Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. So yeah, this specific Elimination Chamber match is number 4 on our list because it was just not that good
and not worth it. We got a payoff at the end that we'll talk about. This really just wanted to highlight a few things. Legacy was going on at the time. Randy Orton and Ted DiBiase were both in the match. DiBiase hit Randy Orton with a pipe, which allowed Cena to hit an attitude adjustment on Randy Orton, which means Ted DiBiase has officially cost Randy Orton his chance at the WWE Championship.
Yep.
Didn't take too long after that.
And the chance at WrestleMania, too.
Yeah. About 2 minutes later, not even, Kofi Kingston took out DiBiase with the Trouble in Paradise. Kofi Kingston, not a minute after that, was taken out after a high cross from Sheamus.
Yeah.
And then 2 minutes after that, Triple H pinned Sheamus.
Yeah, it was a lot. We didn't get the first pinfall. We didn't get the first pinfall until 23 minutes into the match.
Yeah.
So that means that literally almost everybody in the match was there. Everybody in the match was in the chamber at the same time, and the first pinfall didn't come in until 23 minutes in. So it was a half-hour match, but within that half hour, within 7 minutes, we had all the pins at the entire time.
Right. It had its moments. It had the one moment where Cena's getting ready to come out of the pod, and Orton and DiBiase are ready to assault him just as he comes out.
Yeah.
It had its moments. The problem is, so did the Goldberg Chamber, and this kind of turned out the same way. Cena would go on to win the Chamber after tapping Triple H out to the STF, and guess what? This Chamber match don't mean dick because Cena would go on to lose the title about 4 minutes after that.
This Chamber match, didn't it open?
This Chamber match did open the show.
Chamber match opened the show, and we had a swerve, literally in the beginning of the show, right at the end of the match, though. So yeah, number 4, Elimination Chamber, Raw Elimination Chamber, 2010. Number 3.
3 and 2. We'll do one at a time, but 3 and 2 come to you
from the same
pay-per-view. The 2015 Elimination Chamber. We're going to start off. We're going to rank the Intercontinental title Elimination Chamber first.
You had King Barrett. Okay, this is where we're at in wrestling right now. King Barrett, R-Truth, Mark Henry, Dolph Ziggler, Sheamus, and Ryback. So a lot has happened in two to 3 years.
Yeah.
A lot. So this was back when Ryback was done being in the title contention for the WWE Championship and done being in that whole thing with CM Punk where he almost broke his ribs and the whole mess backstage that went on with Ryback, CM Punk, The Shield, and Cena and all that good stuff. So this was fresh off of that. He's now I'm Felt like I had a stroke there just now. He is now put in the Intercontinental title hunt with a bunch of mid-carders, as you can tell. Why Mark Henry's there, we got no idea. It was just...
Daniel Bryan had to relinquish the Intercontinental title due to injury, which he won in a fantastic ladder match at WrestleMania 31.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, just look at the names you got in this match, and look at what they've been... I don't want to say degraded to, but like they didn't do this chamber match any respect at all.
Not at all.
Wade Barrett was pinned 11 minutes into the match by R-Truth.
Yeah.
Go figure.
After a lie detector.
Ryback went and eliminated R-Truth.
Was this Ryback's first title win? I believe so. I believe this was his first title win. Yeah. So this was just to make Ryback look really strong and to get him a title around his waist. Because I think at this point they were so disappointed in how the world title situation went about him that they were like, listen, we got to throw a title on him somehow to keep the momentum because Vince McMahon saw money in Ryback.
A lot of money in Ryback.
A lot of money.
Nonetheless, we've been saying it. Ryback took the title with ease.
Yeah. So King Barrett got eliminated by R-Truth after a lie detector. R-Truth got eliminated 3 minutes later by Ryback after the shell shock. Sheamus eliminated Mark Henry after a bro kick. And he also eliminated Dolph Ziggler as well after a bro kick. And then all we had left was Sheamus and Ryback. And Ryback pinned Sheamus after a shell shock.
Not a memorable moment in this match.
No, not really. I don't
remember a lot of the chamber being used.
I don't remember the match. To be honest with you, I don't remember the match.
I'll be honest, and that goes to show you how much this shit sticks out in our mind. But you know what else? What other match you don't remember?
Honestly, no. This match stuck out in my mind.
Really?
Yeah. It was the tag team title elimination chamber match. They're in the same pay-per-view. And it was right before the Elimination Chamber one. And it was Los Matadores, the Lucha Dragons, the Ascension, Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, the Primetime Players, and the New Day. So this was a disappointing match, because everybody in the match was eliminated by the time that the New Day came out. The only people that you had left really was the Primetime Players. And I think it was Cesaro and Tyson Kidd. I think that was it. It was just a really, really bad match. The only highlight that you had was Kalisto climbing up to the top of the Elimination Chamber and trying to land on everybody who was in the ring.
Right.
But even then, it was like...
It
was kind of all for naught.
Yeah. If that's the only memorable spot, I don't remember a goddamn thing. And this was just terrible.
10 minutes into the match, you had 10 minutes into the match, you had an elimination. 12 minutes into the match, you had an elimination. 13 minutes into the match, you had an elimination. So, before the champs can even come out, because the champs were last, the playing field is knocked out by more than half. Yep. You really just had them and the Primetime Players. You could have just gave me a Primetime Players versus New Day match for 25 minutes.
I agree.
The match didn't even last 20 minutes.
Nope.
25 minutes. The match lasted 23 minutes.
I don't remember a goddamn thing. I'll tell you what. I keep saying it because I guess I tried to block this match out as much as possible.
This was back when the Ascension still had a little momentum?
I don't even think they had momentum.
No, honestly, I don't think they had momentum at this point. No. I think they were buried by this time. You had the Lucha Dragons. The Lucha Dragons were hot.
Lucha Dragons were hot. New Day was hot. Tyson Kidd and Cesaro were hot.
Yep. Los Matadores was,
never. But all these 4 matches do not
even come close
to our number 1 worst Elimination Chamber match
number
of all time. The Extreme Elimination Chamber match from December to December 2006, in addition to already being the worst WWE-sponsored pay-per-view of all time in terms of buy rates and ratings. God, this was one terrible, terrible match. In this match, you have CM Punk, Bobby Lashley, The Big Show, Test, Hardcore Holly, and Rob Van Dam.
Okay, Sabu was supposed to be in this match.
I was about
but
to get to that,
Hardcore
yep.
Holly attacked Sabu backstage. Or Sabu got attacked backstage, and they threw Hardcore Holly into the match last second.
That was because Sabu was suffering an injury. And there's a lot of backstage politics that go into this.
This was the perfect rendition of what was wrong with WWECW. So the story goes that Paul Heyman had booked the show with the intention of having CM Punk winning the ECW championship because CM Punk was a Paul Heyman guy. Since Punk was probably the most over up-and-comer at the time, Heyman's plan honestly made perfect sense, but Vince McMahon didn't feel the same way.
Right.
He wanted to see Bobby Lashley win because obviously Bobby Lashley is the bigger, stronger, guy.
Paul Heyman had originally talked about the original plan for the match, which was not only to have CM Punk win it. Don't forget. Another thing to mention: Big Show was the reigning ECW champion going into this. The main thing was CM Punk was supposed to start the match with Big Show, and he would actually tap out Big Show, leaving the crowd thinking, "Oh, we're gonna get a new champion by the end of this." And CM Punk was gonna be the Iron Man of the whole thing.
Yeah, he was gonna have Punk eliminate Big Show first.
Yep,
that was how it was gonna go.
And it just didn't go that way.
In the end, Punk got eliminated first, and the crowd really said "fuck it" after that.
Yeah. Now they tried to add the extreme dynamic by everybody in their pods having a weapon. The weapons didn't really add all that much to it.
No, and you had people like Tommy Dreamer and Sandman who could have been in the match and gave it like a new school versus old school feel, but instead you had Lashley, who wasn't even on the ECW roster. Hardcore Holly, I give it to a little bit more, but he wasn't on the ECW roster either until later on in the.
And that wouldn't even last too long because he ended up splitting his back open not too long after this.
We really have to watch more WWE ECW.
Oh, it's coming. December to Dismember is coming. I don't care if we have to. We're not waiting to December.
I'll watch every WWE ECW episode with you if you want.
Oh my god,
we'll get to it.
That's rough. We'll talk about it because I just watched it. You know what? Like it sucks because I watched ECW One Night Stand 2005, and I'm like, all right, that's a hot homage to ECW, and then I watch December to Dismember 06, and I'm just like, oh.
Yeah. So you had CM Punk who got eliminated almost immediately by Rob Van Dam. CM Punk. Well, what was the weapons that were in this? The
two guys who started in the ring had no weapons. It was a steel chair,
a crowbar,
a table, and
who had the table?
Bobby Lashley, and a barbed wire baseball bat, which I don't remember being
Big
utilized.
Show had it.
Yeah, which I don't remember being utilized in any way, shape, or form. Bottom line
anything with barbed wire
in WWE
and an actual weapon where they can it's not getting used.
Yeah. Just to go over it quickly, CM Punk was eliminated by Rob Van Dam after a 5-star frog splash. Test eliminated Hardcore Holly not too long after that. As a matter of fact, 10 seconds after that.
Yeah, with a running boot.
2 minutes after that, RVD would be gone as well. After Test eliminated him with a diving elbow with the steel chair. Probably the most extreme thing you saw in that match.
Yeah, from the top of the pod.
Bobby Lashley eliminated Test by spearing him, and then Bobby Lashley overcame the defending champion Big Show with a spear.
Yeah.
And that's it. And the crowd went home to boos. It's the lowest buy rate pay-per-view in WWE history for a reason.
Is it really?
Yeah.
The lowest buy rate?
And it was also looking at the attendance on it, too. The attendance is 4,800 people.
I think
in an arena? What arena is this?
It was Augusta... James Brown Arena. Augusta, Georgia.
Which holds 9,000 people.
Wow, so half of that. They had half of their... I wonder how much of that was tapered off.
And then did they show the buy rate too at the top?
The buy rate, I want to say they showed at the bottom.
They probably did show at the bottom.
Hold on, I will tell you right now. The buy rate for that, not much. I don't know, it's just a shitty.
Bottom line is, it was terrible. It is, I know for sure that it is the lowest bought pay-per-view in WWE history for a reason. Only because, and I don't know if you remember this, Only 2 matches were advertised for this match, for this pay-per-view.
The Hardy Boys versus the Monday
Mercury.
Eminem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but look at the matches they threw together. The Hardy Boys were
this
last
one of those?
minute.
Was this one of the matches that were advertised?
The Hardy Boys, no.
The Hardy Boys weren't
not advertised.
So what was the 2 that were advertised?
The Extreme Elimination Chamber.
Uh-huh.
And I think it was Elijah Burke and Sylvester Terkay versus the FBI.
Why?
Because I don't know. Couldn't tell you. But look at it this way. You've got...
Sure wasn't Davari and Tommy Dreamer?
No, I don't think so. I have no idea. But the Hardy Boys were a last-minute addition with Eminem.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, Eminem was only supposed to be reunited for that night only, and then they ended up going on to...
want to review this pay-per-view at some point?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Regardless...
I can't remember this. I don't even think I watched this.
Regardless, yeah, it was a bad pay-per-view. I certainly didn't buy it.
Of course you didn't buy it.
I didn't buy it, but I also didn't force my parents to go buy it because Bobby Lashley's going to be ECW World Champion. Even... Oh, God. Alright, bottom line is those are the worst Elimination Chamber matches. That is the worst Elimination Chamber match of all time. And we go, thankfully,
to the best Elimination Chamber matches in history, in our opinion at least. Number 5, 2011 Elimination Chamber for SmackDown. So this had... Okay. This is a controversial opinion.
Very controversial.
In our part, because you had Wade Barrett, Big Show, Drew McIntyre, Kane, Rey Mysterio, and Edge. None of these people you could legitimately see winning the World Heavyweight Championship at this time. None of them.
Right.
Besides maybe Kane,
Edge and Mysterio.
maybe Big Show, Edge and Mysterio. And I think at this time, Big Show was flopping between good and evil.
Yeah.
He was flopping between heel and face the entire time. So it was... I think this was Ironclad Contract. No,
this is still pre-Ironclad Contract. The
Oh.
bottom line is, this match actually isn't terrible.
It's not terrible, but
It's
that's
not-
because you had the Shining Stars, which were Rey Mysterio and Edge, who were the 2 Iron Men who lasted from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Literally.
And not to mention, between the last elimination, the second to last and the last elimination, which was between Kane's elimination and Mysterio's elimination, you had almost 10 minutes of wrestling time between Edge and Rey Mysterio.
They let those 2 breathe and go at it, and they had an awesome feud at the time.
Yes, they did.
They had a fantastic feud at the time.
Yep.
At 18 minutes and 48 seconds, you had Wade Barrett get eliminated by Big Show. No less than 2 minutes later after that, you had Big Show get eliminated by Kane. And then a minute after that, Drew McIntyre got eliminated by Kane. Oh, Kane and Drew McIntyre were in the feud for the IC title.
Yeah.
Yes, because that started at the Elimination Chamber in 2010 and kept going for a while.
For a long while.
I think one of them got hurt. I think Kane got hurt or something like that.
Yeah.
And then
Kane was eliminated a
minute
minute
after that by Edge.
But again, you have that 10-minute span of time between Rey Mysterio and Edge where they were able to wrestle, get a lot of time in for each other.
Rey Mysterio got pinned after hitting a spear in midair after Rey Mysterio tried hitting the what's that thing he does? I don't know what to call it. Yeah, I think it was West Coast Pop. Yeah. So after this match of significance was Alberto Del Rio trying to attack Edge, and Christian coming back to a huge pop to go and save Edge from getting attacked by Del Rio, which started the Del Rio versus Edge feud and continued the Rey Mysterio versus Edge feud. So pretty good.
Not terrible.
Not terrible.
Watchable.
Right after this, I mean, honestly, right after, this we had Edge retire.
Yep, he left WWE and professional wrestling in general behind due to a neck injury. Your time in the ring is limited, and Edge gave it his all every match. In my opinion, the greatest heel in company history. So, I mean, that's another debatable topic.
Yeah,
but
so
for sure,
that was number 5. Number 4, we've got Raw 2010, which we just did on the best, but also
2014 is the next.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Raw 2014, which we've got, and that is Sheamus, Christian, Cesaro, John Cena, Daniel Bryan, and Randy Orton. You had a great group of wrestlers in this, which there was an actual belief that any one of these people could win the title at this time. Daniel Bryan, hot, white hot.
This was his time. This is post CM Punk walkout.
Yes, this was in the heat of the Authority.
Yep.
This was in the heat of this was the new belt, right? This was the new belt. Yeah.
Well, no. We still had the two. This was the unified title.
The unified title. I'm sorry.
But it was the two separate belts. Regardless, they told the story. Daniel Bryan was the underdog, waiting for that big break. The fans had hijacked the Royal Rumble a month earlier.
Yeah.
To try and get Daniel Bryan over.
Yeah, Cesaro was the up-and-comer who was doing really, really great work, and this was around the time where people started to really see how great of a wrestler Cesaro could be.
Right.
And then you had Sheamus in the thick of it all, too,
right.
who was doing great work.
Sheamus was always the guy the company leaned on in certain situations. If they needed a quality match, or if they even needed a decent match, they leaned on. They tended to lean on Sheamus. And a great heel.
Yeah.
So Sheamus was in the match. Nobody got eliminated till 26 minutes.
Yeah, this was a long pay-per-view. This was a long pay-per-view match. It lasted 37 minutes altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah, so nobody, like you said, nobody got eliminated. Sheamus was the first person getting eliminated, and that was by Christian. Sheamus ate a body splash from the top of one of the chamber pods. And he got Sheamus got eliminated. Christian then got eliminated almost a minute later by Daniel Bryan after eating a running knee. And after that, a few minutes later, you had Cesaro get eliminated by John Cena.
Tapping out to the STF.
Yeah.
And then things got a little crazy. You got interference from the Wyatt family, which cost John Cena the match. And Randy Orton eliminated Cena after Sister Abigail from Bray Wyatt about 2 minutes after Cesaro.
Yeah, it was actually by Bray Wyatt, the Wyatt family, and Kane. Because Kane was all up in this too. This was when Kane was with the Wyatt family for a hot second.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, this was all up in that ish.
Yeah.
It was quite weird.
And then finally Daniel Bryan was eliminated by Randy Orton and the fans.
Oh, I'm sorry. Kane interfered with Daniel Bryan getting pinned.
Okay.
Yes. Kane interfered with Daniel Bryan getting pinned, and that was when they started their little
That's
feud.
right. That's right.
My bad.
Kane interfered with Daniel Bryan. And allowed Randy Orton to hit the RKO on Daniel Bryan.
This was number 4 best because it had a lot of great wrestlers in there. It was a lot of great work. It was a long Elimination Chamber match. It didn't really have any downsides to it, minus the 2 interferences that we got, but that set up feuds for a later time. So it was all for story, which we can appreciate if it's all for story and it's not for all backstage politics.
Yep.
So that was number 4. Elimination Chamber 2014. Number 3, as I meant to say before, was this one. But number 3 is Elimination Chamber on the SmackDown side 2010. We just did the Raw side for the worst on 2010. You could also hear us talk about this on our Nostalgia Act for the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view.
We had some positive things to say about this one.
Yes, absolutely we did.
Match is entertaining as hell. Yeah. CM Punk and R-Truth started the match.
Yeah, you want to talk about the controversy going into this real quick?
Yeah. During the entrances, while they're filling up the chamber pod, The Undertaker is making his usual entrance, going to the ring, and one of the pyro, the flames that he has to do, one of the pyro that goes off the flames goes off prematurely and engulfs The Undertaker in flames. The Undertaker suffered second degree burns as a result and worked the match. He's sitting in his chair. He was luckily the 6th and last person to go into the match, and he was soaking himself with water the whole time. But nonetheless, he went on to work that match with second degree burns.
Yeah.
And that's the big controversy going into it. To start the match, CM Punk and R-Truth wrestled. And CM Punk he was with the Straight Edge Society at the time, so he had cut a promo saying that how he was better than everyone else because he doesn't drink, smoke, or do drugs. And when he eliminated R-Truth, by the way, a lot of great use of the chamber by CM Punk. CM Punk's always been really good at utilizing the environment, making sure that at least the environment has an effect on the match, and he made sure of it on this. Punk eliminated Truth early, about 3 minutes into the match, and allowed him to cut another promo on everybody in the ring.
Yeah,
and it was something to really, doing some of the best work of his career was the Straight Edge Society. And then Rey Mysterio would come in. Rey Mysterio would eliminate Punk after a springboard splash, I believe, off of a 619.
yes.
We wouldn't see another elimination for about 10 minutes.
Just about that time.
Jomo would eliminate Mysterio next with Starship Pain. The Undertaker choke slammed Morrison onto the chamber floor.
Can we just say that Rey Mysterio almost died in this match?
Yeah.
You also had John Morrison almost died during this match. It was pretty crazy.
And
crazy.
The big controversial finish came down to the Undertaker and Chris Jericho. Undertaker signaled for a I believe it was a second tombstone, and that's when Shawn Michaels came out from underneath the chamber floor, super kicked the Undertaker, and allowed Chris Jericho.
Yeah, because this was when Undertaker hit the Hell's Gate.
That's right.
And then the last ride.
Was
what it was.
That's what it was. It was the last ride, not a second tombstone. So it was the first tombstone he was calling for.
Yeah, first tombstone he was calling for, and instead he hit the last ride. It was after the last ride, first tombstone he was calling for, and then Shawn Michaels came out from under the ring, and Sweet Chin Music's The Undertaker. All in all, it was a pretty solid match. You got some great work out of everybody, some great character work out of CM Punk, even though he was still getting buried at this time.
Yeah.
You had John Morrison show why he's a great wrestler as well, flashy wrestler. I honestly didn't think that Chris Jericho was going to win this, but considering what they were leading to later on, definitely.
Right. It made sense later on because everything fell into place. Edge had won the 2010 Royal Rumble. He had just left the tag. Well, he had got injured, and Chris Jericho basically dumped him as his tag team partner. So you knew that there was going to be some reckoning left there. So Edge would go on to face Jericho at Mania, and Undertaker would go on to retire Shawn Michaels in the main event of WrestleMania 26.
Yep. So that is number 3, Elimination Chamber 2010. Number 2, you've got Elimination Chamber, aka No Way Out 2008. And that saw Rob Van Dam, Booker T.
Whoa. That's say no.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wow, my bad. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, guys. I spoiled the next one. It had JBL, Umaga, R.I.P., Chris Jericho, Shawn Michaels, Jeff Hardy, and Triple H.
Yeah, this match is already you've got the star power. Like the amount of stars that you have in this. People are gonna hate to hear JBL's not a star. JBL's a star regardless of what we want. JBL, Umaga was a hell of a presence. Then you have Chris Jericho, Shawn Michaels, Jeff Hardy, and Triple H. I mean, it doesn't get much.
This was the height of Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy was just getting pushed to the moon. Jeff Hardy had actually beaten Triple H in 2007 at Armageddon to become the number 1 contender for the WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble. He came up short at the Rumble, but he went and did a very personal, very very gritty feud with Randy Orton. At the time, he had hit I believe it was a 50-foot swanton off the set of Raw.
Yep, I remember that.
And it was just, he was coming off that feud. Jeff Hardy he was really he was grasping at those, at the brass rings.
Yeah, I was going to say, this was the brass ring, this was where the brass ring started. It was that Triple H was saying, like, oh, Jeff Hardy, who's ever taken him seriously before? He's always been on the cusp of, getting a world title shot, and he's never been able to grab the brass ring. So this was Jeff Hardy desperately trying to go ahead and, grab that brass ring. And this was honestly the start of it.
Yeah, especially with most of 2007 for Jeff Hardy specifically. It took him quite a while because him and Matt were together for a good chunk of 2007. And really, ever since they had come back, the amount of singles runs he had was mainly Intercontinental title. So this was Jeff's real first serious push into main event level status.
Yeah.
This was big for him. But
the first two superstars to start the match were Jericho and Michaels. They fought each other until Umaga entered. He dominated for a while. Some of the highlights that Umaga had, he performed a double Samoan drop on Jericho and Michaels, and then later he delivered a Samoan wrecking ball to Jericho through a pod. Jericho took some nasty bumps in the chamber.
yeah, he always did.
The next superstar to enter the match was JBL, who dominated the other three for some time until he got eliminated by Jericho after a code breaker. After he got eliminated, JBL he brought 2 steel chairs into the chamber to go and attack Jericho. And then Michaels and Umaga before he was leaving. Triple H entered the match next. Soon after that, everybody delivered their own finishing moves on Umaga, with Jericho delivering the code breaker, Michaels performing the Sweet Chin Music, and of course Triple H executing the pedigree. And then finally, Hardy delivered the Swanton Bomb from the top of the pod. Jericho took advantage of all this and pinned Umaga to eliminate him. Hardy then eliminated Jericho soon after that with
Twist of Fate.
with a twist of fate. And then after that, he eliminated Jericho after a Sweet Chin Music from Shawn Michaels.
Oh.
Triple H eliminated Michaels after executing a pedigree. That followed a twist of fate from Hardy. So the final 2 guys you got were Triple H and Matt Hardy.
Jeff Hardy.
And Jeff Hardy. Wow,
Yeah.
I'm all over the place.
Yeah. And they had worked together. Like, this was also, like I said, they had wrestled each other prior to this. Jeff Hardy had just squeaked away with a roll-up win over Triple H in the later half of 2007. This is before this feud would become extremely personal on the SmackDown brand. Well after this this WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Triple H would ultimately win this match. He hit a pedigree on Jeff Hardy onto a chair, and Triple H would go into WrestleMania 24, the WWE Champion. As for everyone else in the match, JBL went on to defeat Finlay at WrestleMania 24.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels went on to retire Ric Flair at WrestleMania 24. I'm sorry, this wasn't for the championship. This is the number 1 contender.
Yep.
Triple H would go on to lose at WrestleMania in a triple threat match. Jeff Hardy would go on to get suspended after this and taken out of the Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania 24.
Which he was slated to win. Yeah. So
and eventually, I guess that that helped CM Punk, obviously, because gave him the push that he kind of needed. That was number 2. Very good Elimination Chamber match.
Yep.
A lot of good storytelling. And then, what better way to cap off the list at number 1 than with the first Elimination Chamber of all time? For almost a 40-minute long match.
Yep. The participants in this was Rob Van Dam, Booker T, Kane, Chris Jericho, and Triple H, and Shawn Michaels. This was at Survivor Series 2002, the first ever Elimination Chamber match. This was something that people had no idea what it was going to be like. People had no idea
if it was going to work.
How
it would work.
Yeah.
How the chamber structure would affect it. It's so many questions going into it, and this match is the reason that we still have this match today, because like I said, the Punjabi prison,
it was on
there's a reason that there's only 3 of those in the history, and there's so many Elimination Chambers.
On a match on the month before Survivor Series on October 28th of 2002. Eric Bischoff was the GM at the time, and he stated that the Elimination Chamber was going to be a combination of WWE's Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, and WCW's War Game matches. Not terribly far off, but not really close either.
Yeah, I feel like he created a match that really had its own stipulation to it, because they're all in there. The environment is very you can interact with the environment.
Yeah.
They do have it.
It was the countdown timer that came from the Rumble and War Games.
The elimination aspect that came from the Survivor Series, and then the
Rumble.
War Game and the Rumble. And the War Games was the Chamber.
Cage. Yeah.
So, with that being said, again, then they hyped it up, 2 miles of chain, 16. I don't know how many tons they say it is, but it's like 16 tons of steel.
16 miles.
16 miles of chain.
No, I'm sorry.
16
tons of steel. 16 tons of steel. 2 miles of
2
chain.
miles of chain.
Yeah.
So again, and then the bulletproof. This was when it was still bulletproof, not plexiglass.
Yeah,
bulletproof glass. And it was one hell of a match. It was bloody. It was gritty. And this was at the height. This is 2002. Shawn Michaels and Triple H. This is exactly
what you wanted
what you want out of this.
It was just overall just such a good match, because it was the first of its kind. Nobody ever saw this before. The crowd was hot. They didn't know what the hell to expect in all of this. Yeah, man, it was, oh geez, Booker T, it was a lot of it had to do with Shawn Michaels fighting Triple H.
Yeah.
Because at this point Triple H turned on Shawn Michaels.
Yep.
Was a casket match involved in all of this? I feel like a casket match.
Yeah, I believe so. But it was bloody. It was gritty between those two, and Shawn Michaels was just. This was the precursor to the year 2003, where that rivalry would encapsulate the year.
Yeah, the year.
That would be
yeah.
And it wouldn't. This started, and this wouldn't end until WrestleMania 20 in 2004. So this spanned almost a year and a half, year and 3/4 to get there. I mean,
it's
but
just, you know,
Triple H was the defending champion in this, and it was so. I remember like when I first saw the match, because this was a little bit before I got into wrestling. About 2002, I want to say I first saw wrestling in 2003. Didn't really start religiously following it until a little later than that. But when I first saw this match, Triple H is the defending champion, and he's this tough guy. Shawn Michaels is just coming into his second run with the company after that major back injury that he suffered in the late 90s, and it was Triple H was a heavy favorite to win the match. And Shawn Michaels went and took it. Shawn Michaels won the World Heavyweight Championship. He is the second World Heavyweight Champion in history as a result. And
it was great.
40 minutes. These guys wrestled.
You had Rob Van Dam get eliminated by Booker T after a missile dropkick. You had Booker T get eliminated by Chris Jericho after a lion salt. Kane also got eliminated by Chris Jericho after a lion salt. You had Chris Jericho get eliminated by Shawn Michaels after a Sweet Chin Music, and then you had 10 minutes of just Triple H and Shawn Michaels going at it with each other.
Yep.
And oh my God, were they beating each other's ass left and right.
And
it was crazy.
And in the end, we were left with one hell of a moment where Shawn Michaels reclaimed the heavyweight championship.
For after 5 years of not having it? Just about
5 years of almost not having a career anymore.
Yeah.
But regardless, that is what we consider the greatest chamber match of all time. Let us know what you thought of our opinions on the worst and the best chamber matches of all time. This is the 10 count for the month of February. Next month is March, coming up on WrestleMania. Now we have to figure out what we want to do for that 10 count. We can do WrestleMania is kind of in April, so by the time the 10 count comes out for April, it'll probably be past WrestleMania. So we might do a WrestleMania themed one for March.
Yeah, who knows?
But let us know what you guys want to see, because we would like to take some of your ideas and we'll incorporate it into our 10 count, similar to the way we do the Nostalgia Act, where we want to figure out what you guys want to hear us review. Very important that very important. Very important to us that we get you guys more involved. So let us know what you want to see. Let us know what you thought.
Throw it up in the links on Instagram. Throw it up in the links on Facebook. Throw it up. I'm sorry, in the links. In the comments.
In the links.
Throw it up in the comments on Instagram. Throw it up in the comments on Facebook. Throw it up in the comments on Twitter. At us. Double Turn Radio. The last O is 0.
Yeah.
You can find us on Facebook at Double Turn Radio. You can find us on Instagram at Double Turn Radio Podcast. You can find us on SoundCloud at the same thing, Double Turn Radio Podcast. You can also find us on YouTube, Double Turn Radio. So we want to go ahead and shout out our sponsors once again, Warriors of Wrestling. By the time this comes out, you still got a little bit of time to go ahead and get tickets for the Cold Fury, which is going to be tonight when you're hearing this. So definitely go and check that out. And also
Catholic Church, Bath Avenue, Brooklyn, New York.
Exactly. You also want to go ahead and shout out Rated R, Russell Tyson, for the beginning and end of every podcast. He throws his little song in there. This week it's going to be Mastodon Music, which you also have the music video for on YouTube. So while you're checking that on the YouTube, definitely go and follow us as well. My name is Xavier Heat, wrestling's favorite hothead, and next to me is my beautiful and lovely co-host, the James Conti, the man with no gimmicks. We are Double Turn Radio. Thank you.
Fuck you.
Bye.
Yo, rated. I made a brand for myself, decided to take the tightest route. Raised in this biased environment, so they try to doubt and deny it, but none of they lying could put the fires out. My life is on the lines, and this is something I will die about. Diabolical like a Wyatt, I'm getting higher clout. Tired of all these diets, so I'm riding out. Tires on the road, I'm applying every lesson from the losses. I was caught up in depression, now I'm catching them endorsements, wrecking off endorphins, trying to make a splash with the record, so I keep the words flipping like a dolphin. Written's on the pad, I don't brag, but I'm often showing off with the zigzags, call it dolphin. Y'all better show caution if rated on attack. With this Mastodon music, go invader on the track. With the mask on thrashing, leaving haters on the map. No matter where they located on the map, I'm a damage and I made it to a godly place, but they can't stand it. They need to get Jim Cornette or maybe Harley Race. Dudes trying to manage, but they need to mind they manners, cause Psalm keep them hammers and he just got out the slammer. I'm body slamming the grammar, turn your man to a fan. And my Twitter been clicking, just hit a grand on the gram. It's Unicorn PA squared, the flow's flare, and I style and profile, baby, I'm so flared. Going Super Saiyan on them, I'm showing my goal hits. Hitting a goal I'm setting and do it with no fear. Kept work in my notebook, those was the old years. Started in 03, they never could school raid. I'm spitting that Kool-Aid and I'm getting them old years. Breathe fire on the track, I'm burning my nose here. This Mastodon music got me in the mood. Adding to the honor, I'm a armor with the interlude. Put the squeeze on them till they popping like an inner tube. Trust me, these dudes don't wanna wind up in the feud. Heading to the pinnacle, nothing like the cheap vodka. Mention my name, you better speak proper. Put respect on it, cause I don't follow the path they do. So I'm stepping on their toes, I'ma smash their shoes. And me by myself can outlast they crews. With my dope tape, the goat halfway through, man.